Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dugout podcast. Some big news. Well, before I start with some big news, I'm your co-host Andrew, alongside my co-host
Marissa.
And surprise, surprise.
You're seeing us in the flesh.
Exactly, we've transitioned to video production. Marissa, so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, I know the audio was a little bit uncomfortable at times, but
Yeah.
I'm sure our viewers are happy to see us for the first time.
Yes.
You know, finally have a face behind the camera.
Yeah.
No, a lot has happened since our last recording, our last episode.
Yep, because we've been missing for like 2 weeks now.
Correct. And I think there's no better place to start than down at the bridge.
You always gotta throw my team under the bus.
I'm
Like,
not showing your team on the
Why
bus.
we can't start with Liverpool and club? Why it always gotta be Chelsea? Why you always gotta throw me right in the deep end at the beginning?
Well, I believe you saved the best for last. So I think we should
Wow.
keep Liverpool
Wow.
as second place.
Wow.
Right,
Okay.
As coming after.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
let's deal with the small fish first, and then we get to the bigger fish. You know what I mean? You gotta warm up. You know,
Check
before
me
you
at the end of the season without start talk. But all right.
listen. Right now, both of our teams have had a very inconsistent start. So I think
It's true.
You know, we're each other. You know, in terms of fair game, we can take jobs.
Okay. Fair enough.
If I was talking to a City fan or somebody else, then no.
Yeah. All right.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
So Stamford Bridge, Thomas Tuchel has lost his job. He has now found the unemployment line. Talk to me.
You know what? You take this first.
Okay, you want me to take this first?
Yeah, I still processing the news.
Okay, sure. So Thomas Tuchel. I was surprised by his sacking, to be honest. I thought that he would have gone at least a season. But upon reflection and thinking about how things unfolded at Chelsea over the last 12 months or so, I would say that I'm not that surprised anymore. I think when you consider last season, it was supposed to be a three-horse race for the Premier League between City, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Right.
And that was the case up until December. And then the way that Chelsea kind of fell away from that was quite alarming. I think in any other situation, any other season where things at the club were stable, I think then his job may have come under the spotlight a bit. I think because Abramovich had to put the club up for sale because of what happened with between Russia and Ukraine and the backlash that all Russian billionaires got. I think that kind of took some of the spotlight off of Tuchel a bit in terms of how the team was performing.
Have you been having conversation with Gabby Abonlahar? Because he's been spewing that on Talk Sport for like forever.
Actually, interesting. And this is just the truth. No shit at Gabby Abonlahar. But when he's on Talk Sport, those clips I don't watch.
Oh, okay. Fair
I
enough.
don't really like his...
He talks a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, I don't really like his opinion that much. No, I haven't... This is just my general opinion. I might be wrong. I'm not saying I'm an expert on the situation at Chelsea, but that's how I feel. And I think another reason that I'm not so surprised about Tuchel's sacking upon reflection is the fact that when you look at it, the previous regime that would have hired him, all of those guys have transitioned, have been moved out of the club. And I think that's a big thing. It's almost like, I come and I found you in place. I didn't sign you. I didn't put you there. So then it's obviously different. And I think when that happens, a manager's job is always kind of like on a perilous, position. So, yeah, I'm not holistically surprised. The only surprising thing about it is that after giving him so much money to invest in the squad, seeing that he had only got 7 games and departed is the only surprising thing I would say for me. But I think ultimately I don't think that the sacking was down to the performance of the team necessarily either. I think because although it's been an average start, it hasn't been a disaster. Nothing is won or lost yet. I think it's more a case where maybe his ideas don't necessarily gel with the new owners. I think it's a more personality, energy vibe, so to speak. Just a simple fact. But that's my take on Thomas Tuchel. And I'll let you take over.
Interesting take. Well, I remember this is not the second manager that Chelsea has sacked that I heard the news from Andrew first. Apparently he revels in messaging me and telling me when my managers get sacked. I mean, I woke up a Wednesday morning. You know, sometimes when you get up on the morning, you realize your alarm ain't going off. You know, you wonder what's going on. So I just double tap my phone and see a message from you saying that we fired Tuchel.
I let you know, the news first.
First thing I see in the morning. I haven't had time to close my eyes and pray and thank God for waking me up. But I seen that message. So it threw me, honestly. And it was a lot to process because you know I love Tuchel.
I know way, but continue. I
Boy,
honestly don't know way.
Anyways, I love Tuchel. I love all that he has done for the club, and mostly the way he stayed loyal to the club. When people like your club legend Carragher was talking about, oh, Man United should go for Tuchel in this period of uncertainty for Chelsea, like he stayed loyal, and it turns out he did have an offer from Manchester United when we were going through that. Well, not had an offer, but he was approached, and really? He stayed loyal. Yeah, yeah. He stayed loyal.
Just to chime in a minute. Jimmy Carragher's a Met sport man. Just want to say that. I think everything Jimmy Carragher said.
Yeah, but it was still annoying in the moment, though.
I get that. You know, you stay loyal, but I mean, let's be fair. The situation Manu was in last season, Manu's still not an easy job. Dominic Carragher's kind of got some wins together,
right? So
it wasn't necessarily hard. I don't think it would be hard to stay loyal to Chelsea and ignore Manu at that point next season.
But remember, the club was in an uncertain period. So you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to buy Chelsea. You don't even know if you're going to have a job when these new owners come in. So it could have been easy for him to take the job too. Just saying.
I get that, but Manu is also in a state of uncertainty. We always hear Gary Neville, being a drum about the deficiencies of the Glazer family and how they run the team. So,
fair enough. But I still give Jackie. I think he was loyal enough to have deserved more time. And I was really shocked because I know the team has been, honestly, watching Chelsea this season has been, watching Chelsea since pre-season has been a painful experience. And I know we've been struggling for results, but then to wake up and see, I was like, what? I literally thought you were pranking me.
Me?
But you would actually.
I would actually. But yeah. not like that bad.
But I was really, really shocked. And I was upset. I was sad. I was everything. But then I took a step back. I refused to read the typical football sites. I decided to actually look into the actual true sources in the club to find out. And funny enough, a lot of what you said is true. I know. Okay. I know you love being right, but whatever.
I actually don't love being well. Actually, no, that's a lie. But I'm kidding.
Anyways, ultimately Tuchel was sad because he and Bowley, the new owner, disagree on the vision. I have some quotes from Bowley today, actually, that he would have spoken. I get to those in a bit, but it's funny because there's so much I look back on in hindsight that I realize, I could see where it happened. I look back at a few deals over the summer. I'll talk about those in a bit, but I want to touch on the point you made about how Bowley came in and started changing up the behind the scenes. We saw Marina leave. We saw Cech leave. We saw Bruce Butt leave. And the week before Tuchel got sacked, I think it was just after the West Ham win, our head of recruitment, he was there for 10 years, was gone. And I saw the tweet said, basically this meant that Tuchel is the only person left from the old regime. Yeah. I was like, that's interesting. That's
alarm bells in my head, like.
Yeah.
But I was still saying, like, maybe he'll get a bit more
time. Right. And the thing is, everything I've read, they were planning to offer him a new contract. They saw Tuchel, in their words, as the club's greatest asset. But what happened over the summer is that a lot of disagreements over the long-term vision of the club.
Right.
So before I get into Bowley's comments, as I sat and I analyzed it on my own, I look back at some of the signings we've made and some of the deals we've handed out, and it was like, I could tell there was definitely some discord behind the scenes. Take Trevor Chalobah, for instance. I know you like him as a player.
I do.
Did really well for us last season. We were ready. Yeah. We were ready to loan him because we were signing for Fana. And we were like, but, you still need depth in the squad. And ultimately, the rumor is Chalobah only ended up staying because Bowley intervened and told him, we see you as part of our short-term and our long-term future. That was one. Then you had the case of Armando Boja.
Right.
I'm a fan. West Ham wanted him. I think West Ham actually bid like 25,
they
30
did
million
really
for
big.
him. Right. And he was very close to the exit door.
Right.
Then the week Tuchel gets sacked, a new 6-year contract. Bear in mind, Roger signed a new contract with Chelsea before he went on loan to Southampton last season.
Right.
But this contract is obviously new, improved, and longer. So I'm like, interesting that you went from almost being through the door to get a new contract.
Right.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, different case because he's really struggled with injuries since he broke out under Sarri a few years back.
Well, can I just pause a minute?
I know
Couple
you
things I
can
want.
say, you know.
No, seriously. Okay. All right. So the first person you touched on was, remember me again.
Chalobah.
Chalobah. I remember having a conversation with Chris about Chalobah, my cousin Chris, and I was telling him that I didn't feel like, just from your looking, I didn't feel like y'all necessarily need to go on. Even I mean, I understood looking for a centre back, but I didn't feel as though it was like
Needed.
urgent because
Okay.
I felt as though seeing them play, and I was the first boy that said it before Chris actually agreed eventually last season. I said I like the little boy Chalobah, and I actually thought Milan Sarr did well when he played for Chelsea. So I didn't see the whole. Okay, I understood needing a centre back because Rudiger and Christian left. But at the same time, if let's say you go in the season with Thiago, Koulibaly, Sarr, and Chalobah as your centre back options, I felt like okay, y'all could get to January with that.
I don't agree,
Providing no obvious injuries came in play. I understand. I feel like I'm pretty sure I'll have someone in the academy that might emerge as well.
That was actually another person I was going to touch on, but I'll let you continue.
So I was right. So I didn't feel as though it was like a pressing issue as much, but I get the panic. Fine. Next person that you touched on was
Broja.
I really like him. So that one was interesting. So I don't really disagree with you on that one. Callum Hudson-Odoi, something that you said, back on the Sarri.
He did.
He got his team on the Sarri.
Okay.
He didn't.
He had a good
set
season.
the world late. Was that true appearances?
Oh my gosh.
He did not set the world late, in my opinion.
The point
and it was
was
a whole hullabaloo about, stopping him from going to Bayern Munich.
Right, I
And
remember.
I didn't really understand because I didn't think that he justified the whole
I understand.
war. So that's what I mean. Like when you say breakout, I thinking Erling Haaland or somebody had a whole breakout.
But he
season.
has talent.
No, he has talent. I'm not disputing if he has talent or not. I'm just saying when you say he broke out,
He did break out.
He never breaking out is establishing himself as a consistent first 11 player.
Okay,
Has that
fair
happened?
enough. Fair
No,
enough.
it has not.
Fair enough.
Here,
But
he
he
has
has struggled with injuries though, which has impacted that.
He struggled with everything.
Oh my gosh.
With everything. He ain't winning injuries.
But the point I want to make about Callum Hudson-Odoi is there was talk that Leverkusen wanted an option to buy.
Right.
The owner said no, straight loan only. You talk about people in academy. One player who was on loan at Huddersfield last season, Levi Colwill, they had a big meltdown on the Chelsea Twitter about the fact that we were willing to sell him. And I have never seen him play, so I can't say yay or nay. But again, Brighton, he on loan at Brighton now. Brighton wanted the option to buy. Owner said no. So these are all young players that Tuchel was willing to part ways with, whether on loan or selling, that the owners definitely disagreed on. The other interesting one for me was Billy Gilmore, who obviously gone to Brighton now on a permanent deal.
Right.
The owners were blocking that move for a very long time. So when I look back on these things, I was like, there's something evidently amiss here. The fact that you see Tuchel wanted to move on a lot of the young players, but the owners not wanting to do that.
There was definitely some discord.
Definitely.
But what I would say though is, apart from Billy Gilmore, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, where then that people wanted options to buy, and Broja to a certain extent. A lot of them are loans. I think that sometimes a loan is not the worst thing for a player.
It's
If you
not.
could go and get starting games.
It's not.
Because it may be easy to get in a Brighton team.
Right.
Or whoever else that is against Chelsea's first 11.
Right.
Could be. So, and maybe Tuchel felt as though, they needed a year of first team football consistently. Because they had some guys at my team, some youngsters who played last season. Like Tellen Morgan and those type of guys. And they've been loaned out.
Right.
So, but yeah, continue.
But the thing is that it's not necessarily the loan, is the more either including an obligation or option to buy.
Right.
But why I find the situation interesting is you sent me a clip from Talk Sport with Rudiger's representative speaking to Simon Jordan.
I eventually watched it. Yeah.
There was something in there that really caught my attention when he said, when they were talking about Rudiger's contract and everything, he went through something where he said he spoke to new owners And he told new owners, you know that this old regime cost you like over $100 million because of the centre backs we sold, which I'll get to in a minute. And he said, yeah, he know. Which tells me this is not somebody that is just buying Chelsea, and he's knowledgeable. He knows the mistakes of the past and he wants to correct them. We've sold, I don't know how much you rate these two players, but this is an example of what I'm saying. I like Koulibaly, I like Fofana. But we had Mark Gahey, who's at Crystal Palace, who's literally captaining Crystal Palace.
I never realized he was at Chelsea.
He never played. He was sold the beginning last summer for 20 million out to the blue. The other person, Tomori, who's now selling at AC Milan, another good player.
I was surprised that, but he got sold out for Lampard.
Yeah, well, actually, Lampard froze him out in his last season, and he eventually went on loan.
Yeah, Lampard wasn't playing it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
About Lampard. I remember I had a conversation, not to drift off topic. I had a conversation with Chris about Lampard, and they said to Chris, "But Lampard's a joker because Lampard's best centre back is Rudiger." And for a long time, Lampard was not playing him either.
Yeah, Lampard fell out, which is why I was alluding to him on a previous episode. Lampard fell out with a lot of senior players, and I didn't really get it. But back to Tomori and Gahey. Imagine if we kept them. We wouldn't have had to spend £100 million. So I felt the owner came into Chelsea and said, look, we've made a lot of mistakes selling our best assets. I don't want to do that.
Right, moving them on. Yeah.
Exactly. And I could see that wasn't what Tuchel wanted. He wanted like the ready-made players right now to win now. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to win now. But my problem with how Chelsea has operated, and a lot of fans would agree, Chelsea have operated in a state where it's all about the now, the short term. It's like we're not interested in building projects. Right. It seems that this owner is. And even though I'm really sad about Tuchel sacking, I understand it. I think for me though, I was also looking at it from an organizational perspective. Yes, you operated under a specific regime where Cech, Marina, but all of those were making decisions. But Boli's handing you the keys because he wants to create a more collaborative environment at Chelsea. Why can't you adapt as an employee? Why can't you say, okay, he wants to do things differently. Let me learn to adapt to this. Then on the from Boli's perspective, if you see that Tuchel is not in it for the long term in terms of your vision, why couldn't you guys have sat down and be like, okay, we clearly have disagreement here. How can we get to the end of the season and see what we can do with the team and then make a change in the summer? Why did it have to be 7 games in? So that's still where I have even though I understand the sacking, I still think more of a compromise could have been made on both ends so that you don't have us the laughing stock of the football world.
You're not the laughing stock of the football world.
Aren't we though?
No, you're not. There are other teams that I reserve that for. It's not Chelsea. But I get what you're saying, but on the second point though, I don't think that is a feasible plan. I don't think that an owner will say to the manager, let's wait unless you're a caretaker manager. Maybe we can to make any decision. We can make it at the earliest thing. Something that I did hear though was that Chelsea's new owner did communicate a lot with Liverpool's owners.
Yes.
Family group 6, both American.
Even before he bought Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like he's trying to use a similar model.
He is.
To what Liverpool did in terms of project and building, again, a manager that is going to be there for your next 5, 6, 7 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad. I'm not sure. I don't know how. I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know if it's going to be.
You're moving on to Potter.
Yes.
Before you move on to Potter, I just want to share what Boli said about the sacking. So he said,
go ahead.
When you take over any business, you have to make sure you're aligned with the people who are operating the business. Tuchel is obviously extremely talented and someone who had great success at Chelsea. Our vision for the club was finding a manager who really wanted to collaborate with us, a coach who really wanted to collaborate. There are a lot of walls to break down at Chelsea. He's not around there at all. Like, one of the things that I hated about Chelsea is that you had managers like Conte and Jose crying out for certain players. But the club will sign whoever they want to. That can't work. That can't work because you want to play how the manager wants to play. You want to build this team around a specific manager and you're just making unilateral decisions. So Boli wanted to change that. So he continued, and this is something I've seen for sure at Chelsea. Before, the first team and the academy didn't really share data, didn't share information about where the top players were coming from. Our goal is to bring a team together, and all of that needs a well-oiled machine. The reality of our decision was that we weren't sure Thomas saw it the same way we saw it. No one is right or wrong. We just did not have a shared vision for the future. It wasn't about Zagreb, the defeat we had last week in Champions League.
I know.
It was about the shared vision we wanted Chelsea to look like. It wasn't a decision that was made because of a single win or loss. It was a decision that we thought was the right vision for the club. That's what he said today or yesterday or something like that.
Sounds about right, and I think that's my immediate reaction when we talked about it. Like, that I felt it's probably they don't feel like Tuchel's compatible.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yeah.
But in terms of Tuchel not adapting, it's not like he's a spring chicken manager, in terms of like he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I think every manager, has a way of working, and as much as it's also about club finding the right manager, it's about manager finding the right fit for a club. So, for example, we've seen managers been sacked, for example, from Jose Mourinho at different clubs, for example, or even Antonio Conte. There's no disputing that they're top managers. They are, but it's all about finding the club that is the right fit for you.
I just think the irony is he was the right fit under the Abramovich regime. How they wanted to operate, he enjoyed that. In contrast to somebody like a Conte and Jose that would have wanted the sort of power that Bowley was giving them.
But I still, back my original point, I still believe that ultimately the team's performance, as much as that's true, the team's performance last season, when Lukaku started to kick up, rocks about wanting to go back to Italy and eat spaghetti and different things. I think that, that because of the unsettling with the Abramovich sale, could I believe that if it was still a stable club and Abramovich overseeing it, watching Chelsea fall away in the Premier League, I know y'all almost had a great comeback against Real Madrid in the Champions League as well, but watching the fall away, I think that might have been an issue for Abramovich. But maybe the two cup final appearances might have given him more time.
Maybe.
Because this season was a disaster last year either. Except for the Premier League. I think Premier League in terms of what your expectation was.
Yeah, we really fell away badly.
But going on to Graham Potter, I'm glad that he got a chance. I'm not sure if it's going to be successful, but I said it private to you a few times. For a couple of years, actually, that Potter is a good manager. I like how Brighton plays, and I would like to see him at a big club. Now, I thought that he would have probably made a step up to... How I thought it would have happened was that maybe go to a Newcastle or Everton, a club that is big in size and fan base, maybe even Aston Villa, and then make the transition to what we call a top four challenging club. But I'm happy for him. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. It will. At very least, I think he's going to be given time. I heard today that his job is not dependent on this season exactly finishing top four.
Yeah, they just want to see progress in terms of player development, playing style, and different things. So we'll see. I'm a fan as well. I actually thought he was going to be Everton's next manager I don't want to say when. If they ended up sacking Lampard, I expected Potter to take over there. But I'm very happy. I like how Brighton plays as well. I like how he carries himself. We've talked about him taking over from Southgate. So I'm excited that he's at Chelsea and he has a 5-year contract. So let's see. I just hope that Chelsea fans get behind. I mean, I think there's not a Chelsea fan out there that didn't love Thomas Tuchel, how he carried himself and everything. He was really charismatic and everything. But even though you can be sad about Tuchel like I am, but you can still back the new manager, which I am doing.
I think you all should back a new manager. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm not sure if the universal Chelsea fan base is sad that he's gone. Maybe. I think they're more surprised than anything else. Yeah. I'll leave it as that. You think Tuchel's a top manager, right?
Yes, I do.
Top manager? Elite?
Yes. Top 5.
Top 5?
Klopp, Pep, Conte, Jose, Ancelotti, maybe top 6.
All right, I had a company in my head, like top 5.
Top 6,
honestly, right, what do you think? I think Tuchel is a good manager. I'm not ready to put him as elite just yet. Reason being is because I think he needs to win a bit more. I know he won Champions League at Chelsea, but to me, I always said the best team that I saw play football under Tuchel was Dortmund.
Yes, yeah.
But he did get a CL final with PSG in the pandemic year. But he's a decent manager. Even for me, like, I know Klopp is a top manager, but like I wouldn't even say, for example, that Klopp is I would say Klopp is like, for sure he's not number one manager in the world for me. I think the F Klopp's career had to end, God forbid, tomorrow. He'd say that I'm done coaching. I think what will count against Klopp is the amount of funnels that he's lost. I think because as Jose always says, a funnel is not the players to win, and Klopp has a lot of funnel losses.
Yeah.
So I think that when we go through history and we talk about elite managers, he'd be an honorable mention. But right now, as it stands, I'm not sure because I think he needs to win more. He has too many funnel losses.
Don't let the Liverpool fans come for you.
It's out of business. I tell you facts and the truth.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that pretty much sums up Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I think at this point we should move on to Liverpool. No. Where you want to start?
What was the last game y'all played?
Well, today,
Napoli.
Napoli.
Well, I meant before today. Napoli,
Before,
right?
You want to talk about Napoli?
That
You
yeah.
want to cut straight?
I mean, I just want to talk about the team as a whole. Actually, what do you think? I've seen a lot of theories. The reactionary fans and media out there is going to say, "Oh, y'all are missing Mane." That's the obvious thing to point to. There's also been talk about Klopp. And there's also been talk about the fact that maybe y'all haven't quite come down from last season, going for the quadruple just a few months ago to ending up with nothing but 2 penalty shootouts against Chelsea. Whatever. Ignoring that.
But the interesting thing that about fans in general is that the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, I do it too. We often consider those cups to be teacup and a saucer.
That wasn't what I was alluding to. I was just alluding to the fact that it was against Chelsea and it was on penalties.
No, you said okay, so we're going there. But
yeah, I wasn't going there.
There's a consensus that, 2 small cups, that are insignificant.
No, people is only say that when they don't win it. Right, yeah.
I thought that was what you were doing.
No.
But right. Okay, so Liverpool this season, very average start this season, very mixed. They seem to be struggling for consistency. I watched a few games in pre-season, and though I still think that Liverpool will finish second in the league this year, I still think so. Because I do think that eventually they will find their stride.
Okay. At
least in some respect. For example, it's funny, even in the year when we were defending champs, when we lost the 6 home games straight, and that we had that bad spell at the end of the year into the new year, we came from like 8th or 7th or something.
And got top 4.
Exactly. So I think Liverpool's best, apart from City, I think Liverpool are the second best team in the Premier League. The thing is, for me, I noticed from early that I said that this season had the potential to be a growing pain season.
Right.
What I mean by that is that Liverpool will ultimately get the top 4, but the season might not reach the heights of last season where we're fighting on all 4 fronts. Now, there are a multitude of reasons for that, and the reason that I call it a growing pain season, for example, everybody was saying that they needed to buy a midfielder. It is true. I mean, we're interested in a few, but I keep on saying, this is why I like about Klopp's policy. We don't just sign people to make our body. Generally, we look
sign
for the right players. That was gonna, because what a lot of teams do sometimes is that they buy players that strengthen the squad, but not necessarily starting 11.
Right.
And in some cases, you do need the starting 11 to be somebody that's ready to come in and challenge, if not command a play.
Right.
And I like that's Klopp's approach, and that has been a slow build to get to that point. Now, this thing for me, in terms of the performance of the team, it's unfortunate that a lot of players have lost their form.
Yeah, struggling. Yeah.
Robertson has been off color since last season, actually. Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold have been off color. Right? I know people will say
off color. Off color.
Yes, off color. It's been.
Trent's
suspect.
been lazy.
Right, he's been lazy. Been suspect defensively. It's been a bit worse this year.
A bit.
Well, it's only 7 games, so you can't say a lot, or 8 games rather. But fair enough. Been a bit off color this year. I think Fabinho has had a little bit of a down spell. Salah has had a loss of form as well at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And I think those things combined with the injury issues that they've been having. Thiago was injured. Jota didn't kick a ball before Napoli. Well, I think he may have come on in the Newcastle game, but before that he didn't kick a ball. Firmino has never really found back his fitness and form. So I think that's contributed to his, his issues. And then we consider the players that Klopp has bought. Think about who Klopp has bought. He's bought Diaz, who's not a level of Mane. So he's a player that, he's at a right age that you could probably still, improve and develop him. You bought Diaz, who's only been 6 months at the club. Right? You bought Darwin Núñez, who really and truly only had one top season in Europe last year. So you're really investing in that. This guy is going to be what this guy can be in 2 or 3 years' time. Not necessarily right now. You bought an 18-year-old kid to back up Trent as right back. That's another what he could potentially be. You've got back a fit Harvey Elliott, but he's still only 20 or 19.
Right.
That's based on another thing of what he can potentially be.
Okay.
Curtis Jones is still developing. Fabio Carvalho, the guy you bought from Fulham, 20. We just turned 20 last month. Another investment of what he can potentially be.
Right.
Then you also had Gomez, who's not really returned from injury. Going to need a bit of time. Konate got injured last game of preseason, unfortunately. And Henderson has had a few injury issues. As had Naby Keita. You know what, Naby Keita, my issue with him. But we know he's never been consistently fit at Liverpool anyhow. But he's got injured.
Man, just hate Naby here.
No, I don't hate Naby. I do not hate Naby. For the record. And also Chimney got injured. So what I'm saying, when you include the loss of form, when you combine the loss of form with the injuries that they've had, and the fact that really you've been playing, the fact that people that you've brought in are not necessarily fully acclimatized to hold who play or whatever the case would be, it's gonna be it's gonna be a bit of a stop-start.
I get you, but it would not be a growing pain season if the usual suspects were performing better. Yeah, so ultimately the problem, and that's why I'm not saying you're wrong, because I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But if this was, let's say, I never want to use last season, because last season y'all didn't start great either. People tend to forget that.
We started better, yeah, but
it started better, but y'all really only kick on from half.
From second half, right? Because we had a lot of draws in the first half of the season.
Right.
And that's what we didn't tell.
Right. So ultimately, if you had people performing better, it would probably make the transition process a little easier, and y'all would probably had a better start to the season. Right. But my thing is, why do you have so many players off color, as you call it, at the same time?
I can't explain that. They're humans. They're not machines. People will lose form.
Fair enough.
But what I would say though, in relation to, let me qualify what I mean by growing pain season. This is what I mean. Liverpool under Klopp, especially last season, there will be expected challenge on all fronts, or at least go for any 2 big competitions, which is Premier League and the Champions League.
Right.
Title challenge is a must-have. Champions League deep run is a must-have.
Right.
If not me.
Right.
So let me qualify what I mean by growing pain season. What I mean by growing pain season is that last season where Liverpool went, really close to winning those big trophies, might not necessarily happen this year. Okay. That's what I meant by growing pain season.
Okay.
So because I think last year was a real freak in terms of getting that close, to be honest.
It was.
But I think when you talk about, there's a, I can't remember the word you use, but a sort of like a come down after that,
Yeah.
I think that's more to do with the fan base. And I think that's why you've had the overreaction at Klopp, like, Klopp needs to go.
Nonsense.
No, y'all need to shut up. But I think the fans need to come down a bit. You know what I mean? I think the fans need to come down a bit. For example, I had this situation. I'll give you an example. Last year when we started slowly, and then we kind of like put all the runs together. But in the first half of the season, I was a bit annoyed that we had so many draws.
I remember.
And particularly,
I am watching Liverpool again.
Oh, I did say that after a certain Brighton.
You are hilarious.
2-2 draw. I done with them.
Man is getting feeling so serious when Liverpool do nonsense.
But I was really disappointed. And I remember like I was looking at Virgil and being like, because I thought that because I had the high of when Virgil in team, Liverpool normally win and we hardly lose. Right. Or you expecting to beat teams like they're expecting to beat when Virgil's in team.
Right.
I had to come down and realize, well, this man come back from injury, and it's not going to click
right,
just
true.
like that.
True.
So I think right now Liverpool need a bit of patience. I think, like Klopp said, just need to go back to basics and doing what makes you what has made you what you were, or what we recall you as being.
Yeah.
Mane, interesting thing, and this is one thing I'll say about the Mane situation. Well, even about the squad, I actually got a couple things I forgot. Origi and Minamino left. Now, say what you might say about Origi and Minamino, right? They were not like starters every week. We know that. But we wouldn't have won a lot of the trophies that we won before Origi and Minamino.
It's true.
Right? So, I think they were important components of the squad.
Yeah.
So, I think that was not necessarily a big, well, I don't want to say like we'll make it a bigger loss than it is. But I just want to say like when you consider that you brought in Fabio Carvalho and Darwin Núñez, those guys are going to need time.
Yeah.
You know, especially and when Salah form has gone and Bobby hasn't been able to consistently find back his best.
Right.
He showed the glimpses here and there, and when you think Bobby's back, injury or bad game. I think that's what is more putting Mane absence on, under the microscope. Luis Diaz, I think he still needs to adjust the whole we play because to me he's play like iso ball. A lot of things that he does, are individual. Things, right? So his talent is there, but I think you still need to work him into whole player, or at least get an understanding with whoever in the front three that he's playing alongside.
Right.
The only thing that I would say about Mane leaving that has been apparent is that yes, there's a lot of cohesiveness in the front three, but I think that was I think a lot of that was down to the fact, like I said, Núñez is new, Bobby's in and out, Salah's performance drop.
Yeah.
I think if you had a fit Jota, or even if you had a fit Bobby, because remember I started season when we did, I said that I didn't think Darwin Núñez would start. I think Klopp was slowly integrating him.
Right.
The injuries meant that Núñez maybe is playing a bit more than he would, and he needs time. I think right now he's kind of like being a bit anxious.
Yeah.
He take it, like, even he gets a chance. He had a chance today against Ajax, snatching at it. Just but I think eventually when he gets more settled, I think he will start doing things more natural.
Okay. Well, I think having watched your point about Jota is interesting because having watched the first half of the Ajax game today, y'all look better, in my opinion, with him on the pitch too. So I take everything you're saying. To touch on Liverpool fans need to relax. I think football fans in general need to relax. I see it with Chelsea fans as well. We need to get that. And it's so amazing. Have you ever really sat down and thought about how people have short-term memories in football?
Yeah.
When Pep first came to Man City, he literally just scraped top 4.
Yeah.
When Klopp took over from Rodgers.
Finish if.
People need to, first of all, remember what your manager has done in the past, but also remember that it takes time to build a project. It also takes time to rebuild a project, which is what Klopp is trying to do.
Exactly.
So just be patient. Liverpool is still Liverpool. The signs are still there. Yes, y'all are off in certain, but I would love nothing better to see Klopp leave Liverpool,
Listen,
honestly.
I know you would.
But as a Liverpool fan, I cannot fathom any Liverpool fan saying Klopp out. I just don't get it.
This is the thing. And like you said, like for example, when people were saying, because there was a debate about Salah leaving or if Mane should leave and which one we should keep. Between me and you, Mane was my favorite player at Liverpool. Right? Yeah. And I thought Mane was the better of the two in terms of all round footballer.
Right.
But you couldn't keep both. And there's a reason. I'm not sure what the financial situation was, if that was a factor. But I'll say this. Bobby Firmino, Salah, and Mane were together for the last 5-6 seasons.
Yeah. Time
At
for a
some
change.
point, you need to break up a team.
Yeah.
And if you look at the players that Klopp has brought in, Jota, 24, 25. Darwin Núñez, 23. Fabio Carvalho, 20. He's slowly trying to, make a transition out. Yeah, so that's all that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I don't want to say it's necessary because I didn't like that Mane left. I was disappointed. My favorite player, Sadio. But it was something that was inevitable. That front three I think honestly that was a growing pain season because I think that the Liverpool squad that you saw, so at this stage not requiring a massive overhaul.
Right.
So what Klopp is doing is that systematically changing it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It just so it'd be easier transition into a new team.
Yeah.
That team was together for like so if you
long
count when
time.
Van Dijk came in 2017, 18. It started 2018, I think Coutinho was sold. That's 4 years.
Yeah.
That team might need to.
It's time. Yeah. It's
move
time.
up.
It's time.
Liverpool fans though. I was a Liverpool fan from 1998. I became a Liverpool fan because the first game I watched, sorry for the history lesson, but the first game I watched was Liverpool versus Southampton. Sammy Hippie and Michael Owen were the goal scorers, 2-1 win. And I like Michael Owen. And then coincidentally that same season or a year after, I started Mr. Stevie G emerged. And I was like, okay, this is my team. I mean, I had no knowledge that my dad supported a team as well. I was visiting overseas, but what I'm trying to say is that I've gone through
Pain.
Rahul here, Rafa Benitez, and there were some bright spots in between there.
Yeah.
A couple, a treble win, a Champions League win.
Yeah. But a lot of pain.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson,
Oh, wow.
Kenny Dalglish.
That's a blasphemy.
Legend,
Class.
but was it the best situation?
Your favorite
Previous
Boy
owners.
Rogers?
Oh yeah, Brendan. That nincompoop.
Wow.
Anyway, but I sure you shouldn't call him that.
You should not.
I apologize, Brendan. You're not a nincompoop, but you're not my favorite person in the world. But anyhow, just saying, like, Klopp woke up a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
Liverpool were a big club. I keep on explaining there's a difference between big club and big team.
And big team. Mm-hmm.
Klopp made Liverpool into a big team. Really woke up a sleeping giant.
He did.
No, any manager could lose his job. Get me wrong. If, let's say, this poor form was, sustained for 12, 18 months, I will understand.
It's barely been 2 months.
But really, after almost winning all 3
Yeah,
months later, you already
just
want to argue that your manager lost his job?
Ridiculous.
So, like, those Liverpool supporters who have that opinion, for me, they're not really Liverpool supporters. They're just, I don't know.
I agree.
It's stupid.
agree.
And they need to be quiet. Let Klopp do his job. Because I'm pretty sure Marissa's not alone. I'm pretty sure City fans and everybody would be happy if Klopp left.
Very much so.
Unless Liverpool, it's going to be interesting. When Klopp ultimately does decide to walk away, or let's say the part of this, we don't know how it will happen. But when that day happens, it's going to be interesting who Liverpool go for next. Because if I talk about going to pay a season, but if they really want paying, get that manager appointment wrong.
It's true.
We've seen what has happened to
Arsenal.
Arsenal, Man U.
Yep.
No,
2 of the classic examples for real.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think Liverpool fans need to just
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down. It's football. Whoever, you have a season, you win. It doesn't really mean anything. You're champions for like 3 months, and then you're back at it again. You defend every year.
And also, it's never how you start. It's how you end.
And not only that, I keep on saying, it's not always as bad as it seems.
It's true. I was watching Emma Hayes, Chelsea women manager. So actually watching a new documentary on Chelsea women. She said something interesting, like, you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are.
Exactly.
So just relax, Liverpool fans. Just relax.
Yeah, getting carried away, but I mean, that performance was bad.
Yeah, it was.
Trent was bad.
It was.
I mean, I can't defend Trent
Yeah.
anymore, can I? Trent was bad. The whole team was poor.
Yeah.
I can't put it as those things happen. That was not a bad day office. That was a shambolic performance.
Terrible.
Yes,
Could have easily been like 4, 5, 6.
But I mean, I think Klopp has enough good faith that
He does.
even if they didn't get top 4 again that season. Sorry, at the end of the season.
He does, but y'all will get top 4 though. Definitely.
Klopp is a good manager. I think he's a good fit for Liverpool. And I think I will give him the chance to turn this around.
Me too.
I have to be very careful when they say turn around as well, because it's only one game in Champions League that has gone. They won this, so they're actually back in a decent position. And it's only been 7 games in Premier League.
Yeah.
So when they say turn around, that might even be an overstatement.
Exactly.
Just be cool.
Yeah.
We see where you are at your World Cup break.
True. So,
Right.
what's next?
What's next on the agenda? Champions League was there, so.
I barely watched any. I was sleepy. Honestly, I was
Fair
tired.
enough. Chelsea wasn't playing. That's what happened.
It's true. Tomorrow, I won't be sleepy tomorrow.
You're playing Salzburg tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Potter's first game.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting indeed.
But I think the big results today would have been Liverpool 1. Late goal by Joel Matip. Get in there, Matip. 2-1 win against Ajax. And they were the better team. I mean, they weren't like the vintage Liverpool on the clock, but they were the better team.
Okay.
Bayern got a win against Barcelona. 2-0 win.
That must have hurt Lewandowski.
And Antonio Conte's Tottenham. Sorry, I apologize. Sorry. Antonio Conte's Tottenham Hotspur went down 2-0.
2 late goals.
Yes,
though.
Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, like 90 minutes, both goals scored, something like that.
Commiserations to Akali Amine, Arrow King.
No commiserations from me.
Why you
I
so?
good.
Okay.
I good.
And tomorrow's we said Chelsea's playing Salzburg.
City Dortmund. That should be.
I'll definitely be watching City Dortmund.
That should be a good game.
I'll definitely be watching that. Yeah, and so I think next thing for us is to look forward to the fixtures in the Premier League this weekend.
Yes, let me pull them up.
Yep.
I mean, they had a real big one for Sunday, but unfortunately, due to the Queen's passing, Liverpool and Chelsea has been postponed.
I'm actually happy about that, Not that the Queen passed. I'm happy
I don't know
that...
how I feel.
You don't know how you feel? I tell you how you feel now.
I feel it was a good time to play Liverpool, but at the end of the day, it's still Liverpool.
You see? And that's the problem, right? You all feel it's a good time to play Liverpool.
But
That
then,
is the
you don't hear
problem.
what I say? But then, at the end of the day, it's still Liverpool. So,
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
I kind of mixed, to be perfectly honest.
Honestly, like... The way I feel about it... don't forget, I found out that it was postponed before today's game. So maybe my opinion will have changed. But having said that, before, when it got postponed, when the decision was made, I was quite pleased because, it's like... I think both teams have made an average start this season, but
Would have been
at the end of the day, it's at
game.
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
You're the home side. I think that will, part of this first game might be a reaction from the Chelsea players. So, definitely, I would do the little break in between.
Yeah. But I think it's only of the big six. It's Wolves, City, Spurs, Leicester, and Arsenal, Brentford. Because Man United Leeds has also been postponed.
Right. But Everton West Ham should be an interesting game.
When is that
That's
playing?
on Sunday.
Okay, that should be interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting game.
So let's go through. Wolves, City.
Wolves City.
I don't know where you even bother. You don't know
Okay.
City game thrash them?
We don't know that.
Okay. Your prediction?
I'm going to go... Because Wolves is a team that sometimes have given City a problem in the past, I'm going to go for a 2-1 City win. Having said that, though. Hopefully I'm wrong.
3-0 City.
Okay.
Spurs, Leicester. Spurs at home.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win.
How Thomas Tuchel gets sacked before Rodgers, Lampard, and Gerrard will forever be a mystery. But anyways,
Different club, different expectations.
I guess. But it's just funny to me. You said you're going for a what?
2-1 Tottenham win.
Yeah, me too. Brentford at home to Arsenal. Oh, should be interesting.
All right, so I'm going to go for a... I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
I feel like Brentford be up for this.
But I also feel Brentford always up for London Derby. But I also feel Arsenal might kind of get back on track for the Man United loss. But
they won in Europa League last Thursday, right?
Arsenal, yeah, 2-1, I think it was.
Yeah. So
and their game on Thursday is postponed. So, right. Yeah. So, I think I agree with 2-2 though.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with 2-2. Let me just throw in Everton, West Ham while we're here. Because that should be interesting.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham.
Me too.
Yeah.
Look at how we on par.
I feel that emergency performance for Everton was just because of Liverpool.
Yeah, I
Liverpool
think so
ain't
too.
in the best form right now.
I think so too.
I feel like it'll be interesting.
It will be.
Yeah,
it will be.
All right, so before we wrap up, anything cricket-wise you want to get into?
Well, by the time this comes out, West Indies T20 World Cup squad should be out because we're recording on Tuesday. It's coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. I tell you, boy.
So you expect a rant tomorrow morning?
Woo! I don't know.
Remember, I got work, So you can't rant late. Who's ranting in summer?
I actually think that I am actually going to be on board with what these selectors do. I have a feeling that I know most of who's going to be in that squad. So I don't think nothing is really going to surprise me. If you wake up, no, because I think it's going to be announced like 10 o'clock. But if at any point you see like a 7-minute voice note on your phone, then you know he's surprised about something. But I honestly think despite what people are saying, I think Andrew Fletcher will be picked for sure. I think he's done enough in the 60 and the CPL to go as a backup opener / wicketkeeper. I don't think Evan Lewis is going to get picked. I don't think that his issues with the board have been resolved.
Right.
And he has been struggling with his fitness in the CPL too. But if he gets picked, Fletcher won't be picked. I think... I don't think there'll be major inclusions or exclusions. I think it's going to be pretty much what we've been seeing over the summer. I think I remember saying on one of our episodes that Shea Hope, I think you mentioned it as well, you would rather Shea Hope as a backup than Fletcher, and I was hoping that if Shea had a good CPL maybe, but Shea has not had a good CPL. His strike rate has been way too low, so I don't think they can take that risk.
Right.
But I think the squad is going to be pretty much as expected. I don't foresee any major surprises.
I agree with you, but I won't cuss on here. But I'll reserve my
shouldn't.
cussing for after the tournament.
If we get through the qualifying round.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Because I ain't sure we will, but we'll see.
I understand what you're saying about Fletcher and, you know, doing enough to make the team. My issue with Fletcher, though, is that when he makes team, he has to, you know, he gets a chance. He doesn't grasp it. He's never really transitioned to being a quality international player.
But then my question is, if not Fletcher, then who? That's my thing.
I know that's what you're saying.
I mean, batsmen are exactly pointing at their hands right now in the CPL.
But you said you want him in the squad. You said you didn't want him in the starting 11, correct?
Right, yeah.
And I said to you, remember, right here, I said to you, well, you really shouldn't take anyone in the squad that you won't,
right.
Consider for your starting 11.
Right, exactly.
So maybe that's an indictment on the standard of our players.
It is, actually. But I think also what Fletcher has going for him is he played in the BBL, Big Bash League in Australia, so he knows the conditions. But I don't exactly know how well he did when he performed, so I can't say that it's good or bad. But I just think that there will be a meltdown if he's included. But me personally, I think is an expected inclusion at this point.
Okay. One thing that I want to touch on is Evan Lewis.
Evan Lewis, okay.
So his issue with the board is fitness, right?
Yeah, they had a debate where the chief of selectors said he didn't take a fitness test. And then Evan Lewis tweeted something cryptic about basically alluding to the fact it wasn't true. I don't know was the real story, but what I do know is that this is a recurring theme with our cricketers lately. We had a similar issue with Shimron Hetmeyer with his fitness, failing a fitness test. We've had issues with Sherford and Rutherford. People were wondering why he didn't make the last T20 squad. Apparently, he has not even ever taken a fitness test to be considered for inclusion. So we've had issues, and people outside of West Indies cricket always say, but look at the playing the IPL, they're playing the PSL, but international standards are different. And I really admire our cricket board for wanting to enforce these standards because they're important.
Right.
We had a conversation about when we watched cricket live against New Zealand, how the running lacked intensity, and you felt that it was because of fitness.
Yeah, I know it was because of fitness. Shareholder continuously calling for that double, wimpy face, pouring in sweat. I mean, it was humid, but
yeah, it was humid.
They did not look fit.
Yeah.
Or in comparison to New Zealand, they definitely didn't.
Yeah, and I think our fitness issues are like, somebody that really frustrates me, Shane Thomas. Like, this guy, even Ian Bishop was saying it on commentary recently. He used, you forgot about him.
Almost forgot about him.
Like, the man used to bowl 150 clips.
Yeah,
now he only bowling like 150. You see him in his CPL. He doesn't look trim. He still looks like he's carrying a lot of weight. He still doesn't look fit. And I'm like, we have so many talented cricketers. Somebody just get hold of them and tell them, get your fitness up. Before you continue, there was a Ollie Robinson from England. He had struggled with his fitness. He actually came out and said he used to struggle with this whole going to the gym all the time. You look at him now, he's trimmer, and he said he actually can see the value of it for his bowling. So whoever got through to him, we need somebody like that to get through to our cricketers. You can be talented, but if you're unfit, you're no use to the team.
This is the thing. We've been hearing it for a long time. When we were young. I think that one of the issues with West Indies players are that sometimes they lack discipline. I think the fitness thing is all about discipline because I'm pretty sure at this level, in this modern age of sports, teams or whatever, or modern age of sports, you have fitness regimes that you're allowed, that you are enforced or you should follow during the off season, or what we call the off season when you're not playing.
Right.
So it means that they're not adhering to the measures that are the perimeters that have been put in place for them, and then they're upset when, I guess in their mind they're thinking, okay, even if you fail the test, maybe the series is not imminent, or we should still be given time to get ourselves together. Or else. No, I think that's their issue, but it doesn't work like that. You have to meet the standard, or not the standard be lower to meet you. Just saying. So I think that it's about the individual. I think that's just lack of discipline. Why aren't you fit?
And to me, this team with Evan Lewis in it would be, like, can you imagine Evan Lewis and Kyle Mears at the top of the order? Like, You know one of them can tee off.
Right.
And I would love to see it, but I just don't think we will. So I'm not even... That's what I'm saying. I think Fletcher would be the inclusion as the backup opener.
Okay. I understand that. But for me, it's just disappointing. That
Yeah, it is.
a reason... And it's not like injury, but a reason that you are not being selected is because you are not physically capable of performing the task.
Yeah.
Because you're not working on yourself. You know?
According to the board, apparently he says it's not true, but we'll see. But
we'll see.
I mean, for me, from the eye test, he had a lot of niggles in the IPL, and he's also had a lot of niggles in the CPL too. So there's clearly something not right there with his body.
That's anything with fitness though is really a question about desire to play. You know, and
It's interesting.
Maybe that's what he's upset about, because he feels as if to make that information public. Because there's been times in the past where we've had boards who have kept things a lot hush hush.
Yeah.
This board might be a bit more transparent.
Yeah.
And that might be his issue.
Yeah, but I think to me, that word you mentioned, desire, is key. I think Sherfy and Rutherford is somebody that I would have liked to see in the last squad, and for me, I would love to see him in this squad too. But my question is, does he actually desire or want to play for West Indies? That's ultimately the question. So for me, if you don't have that desire, then stay home.
Great. But we'll see how they get on in the
Yeah, I ain't got my hopes up.
T20 World Cup. Ever the pessimist, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Expect nothing, you'll never be disappointed.
We'll leave it for another episode, okay? I do want to, before the tournament starts, I think we should probably go through the teams that who we think, are the contenders, or legitimate contenders. But honestly, considering the talent that I know is there, I think we would have a chance, But
honestly, we do, like, I think for one thing, we have 2 key players back that were ruled out due to injury at the beginning of last tournament. Fabian Allen and Obi McCoy. 2 of those in our team, gold dust. And then we have Azari Joseph, who has been brilliant.
Yeah, yes.
The man is bowling so quick now, and he has added accuracy, he's added movement. Like, our bowling looks like it could do something.
Right.
In addition to Akil Hussain, he has a bit of an injury, but I think he should be fine now. Our bowling looks like it do something, but
we're taking the Korea fella as well. I think he did
Hayden
enough against New Zealand.
Hayden Walsh has been doing so well in CPL though. I don't know.
Korea did really well in the New Zealand series.
He did, but I don't know if he's playing cricket. No, that's the thing that may work against him.
So he does have a CPL. He does have a CPL team.
No, he doesn't. And Hayden Walsh is actually doing pretty well in the CPL. So,
all right.
I would take Korea though.
I ain't really high on Hayden Walsh, but
I would take Korea, but I will understand Walsh being included. Okay. So as I said, I think maybe I should choose my 15 and see if it ended up being right. So I'll choose my 15 now, and then I'll see if I'm right.
Okay.
So Brandon King, Kalmirs, Puran Hetmeyer Powell, Holder, Allen, McCoy, Alzari Joseph, Akil Hussain. That's 10. Odin Smith has to go. I know you're not a fan, but he has to go for me. Andre Fletcher, for sure, if Evan Lewis isn't included. Gosh, why am I forgetting players all of a sudden? That's only 12. I need at least 3 more players. Hayden Walsh, that's 13. Honestly, I know I'm forgetting somebody, I know I'm forgetting somebody. I would love to see Ray Murray for giving a go. So he will be my 14th player. I don't know who I think my 15 needs another all-rounder / batsman. Batsman is exactly putting their hand up right now. So I will probably go with... Oh my gosh, who would I go with? Okay, I will probably choose Romario Shepherd. If Andre Russell isn't going, which I doubt he will.
Right.
But Romario Shepherd bowling sucks right now. But he does a job with the bat.
Right.
So I will put him in there as a squad player. So it'll be interesting now when this comes out on Friday. I'll see if my team lined up.
Right.
If it does, I deserve a cookie.
Yeah.
So,
bad for you.
So you.
Okay.
Duh. So you see, that would be my 15. I still feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but maybe it will come back. But that would be my 15.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I will reserve my. Actually, no. I want the squad to come out. I'll analyze the squad. And I'll give you my thoughts on the squad.
We analyze the squad next week for sure.
Yeah. And you know, in terms of if I have any major problems with who's included. And then I will, you know, project what I think they will do ultimately, and then we'll see, you know, how they perform at the tournament itself. Hopefully, like you said, they get 3 qualifiers, and
Yeah.
you know,
Hopefully.
we're not left just watching other people fight for a trophy. Well, I think that is it.
Yeah, but before we go, we have to
Yes, we do.
give a shout out to Spirit Light Studios,
Yep, Spirit
who has
Studios.
been gracious with their space. So
And their time.
and their time, yes,
I really appreciate it.
and our setup. So thanks, Spirit Led.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And that's it from us.
That's it. So I want to thank our viewers for listening, for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. You know, man.